it's Jessica and welcome back to the letter. So Rebecca just left the mansion and she saw the girl hovering over Luke or hugging onto him. And she couldn't even say, hey, what is that behind you? Because she just got kicked out of the mansion. So we'll see what happens now. A rush of fresh air against my cheeks does little to dampen the chill in my bones. By now, the sensation, the fear, and disquiet, at least whenever I see her, is familiar enough for me. Already, it has made a home in my nerves. I do not even notice my trembling hands until I cross my arms across my chest. The cold from the tips of my fingers seep through the thick material of my shirt. Neither of it helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head. But I know I should.
Someone has to tell that douche.
Like how she calls him douche still. I start walking back before fear can cripple me again. It's not wise. Returning, that is, especially after what happened. But Hannah is still an old friend, and Luke doesn't deserve whatever misfortune the letter might bring. I can't just leave those two in there. Isabella's right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that.
Becca!
Oh.
Where'd you go off to?
God. Ashton? If you're done here, let's go. I'll get back to the city. My mistake, the second his voice cuts through the crisp night air, is that I've allowed my annoyance to get the better of me. Fuming, purpose forgotten, I whirl around and march towards him. One accusation another piles up on the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. That straight face he keeps as I do so doesn't help my temper, my anger either. It only makes me want to slap some more sense into him.
Shouldn't I be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time since that mess in the hall. I told you I hate parties like...
And before that? Where have you been the entire evening?
Right then and there, I might have forgiven him, if he'd shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, giving me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't need to put them into words. A single gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does that whenever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustration huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So without speaking any further, I simply walk past him and stomp over his car. Although before I can pull open the door, he calls out, one hand outstretched, a gentle weight on my shoulder.
Wait, Becca.
He pauses, his brows furrowing and lips curling into a slight frown. I can almost see the gears turning in his head while he tries to piece together everything he wants to say. Before, perhaps, I might have waited patiently for those. He's not a man fond of using words to express himself more often than not. Any gesture of honesty will only come out as a blunt and coarse when forced. But today, for a reason or another, I simply cannot summon the forbearance.
Ashton, if you're just going to waste my time again...
Becca, listen. I don't know how else...
That much is obvious. Why don't you just take the whole bloody night?
Yeah.
Go on, I can wait until next year. Better yet, why don't you just keep it all to yourself like you always do? It's not like...
Rebecca, will you hear me out first?
The silence I can offer him, but whatever I'll believe what he's about to say is up for debate. A very long debate.
I honestly don't know how else to put this. I'm aware your parents have some kind of history with Hannah Wright, and somehow you're friends with her. But you should stay away from these people for now. Especially the husband.
See, there he goes again. He warned Zachary, he warned Isabella, now he's warning Rebecca. Stay away from these people, especially the husband. Luke.
Who? Luke?
His expression deepens into a scowl at my mention of the name, but whatever opinion he has, he doesn't immediately voice. Still, something about it has greatly displeased him, evident to the stiff note in his tone assumes.
Yeah, he's bad news.
It's my turn to frown this time. What does he mean by that? What does he have to do with this? Care to explain your reasons? Would he answer me, though? That's the question, because Ashton is so focused on, I can't explain anything. It's like, part of my job. I'm not allowed to disclose things. And at the same time, yes, I know Rebecca and Luke are pretty much friends at this point. But if Luke is into something really bad, would he hurt Rebecca is my question. Would he hurt her or do something bad towards her? Because the relationship bar is like pretty much full, so I have no idea. What does he have to do with this? I guess. I don't know if because either or, I don't think he's going to answer my question regardless.
What does he have to do with this?
It's not a question without merit, though the man can quite be abrasive sometimes, downright nasty with his words. You can't simply accuse anyone by virtue of that alone, and it is an accusation, no matter how much Ashton's phrasing plays down their meaning. What right does he have to tell me who I should associate myself with without even bothering to tell me his reasons at that?
Plenty. Just
See, he's
trust me on
not
this,
gonna say.
Don't you Becca me. That doesn't answer my question at all, Ash.
Yeah.
You haven't answered any of my questions, in fact. What's really going on here?
I want to hear it from him. If we are going down this route, I want to hear it straight from his mouth. But whatever he thinks of the man, I haven't found any reason why I should be wary of him. Sure, we started out on the wrong foot, but he's a decent guy when he tries. A simple explanation is all I want. Is that really so hard to understand for him?
the situation's complicated. One mistake and you guys could...
So, we're back here again. More secrets? Why can't you be honest to me for once?
I'm pretty sure the reason why he doesn't want to say because it's an assumption of him. He can't... Okay, let's say he's doing something bad. What if he's wrong? Because he has no evidence that Luke is doing something shady. I think that's what he's trying to do. Find evidence to present to his boss to be like, look, we need to take this seriously. That's the reason why he's keeping everything a secret. He can't tell anyone this. Because I'm pretty sure that's part of his job. He's not allowed to disclose anything.
He's a dangerous man to be around, Rebecca.
Really? Care to elaborate on that? Because from what I've seen, the only dangerous thing about that guy is his audacity to cheat on his wife.
Why are you defending him?
Ooh. This is kind of awkward. Like, okay, if I didn't suspect Luke, I would be cool with, Becca and Luke being together, but it's just like, I don't know what Ashton's looking for. I want to desperately know, and his chapter is after Rebecca, so we'll find out very soon.
Who said anything about defending anyone?
I'm getting really worried about you guys. First it's Zach, and now you're...
Oh, you're worried?
Somehow, even that concern feels empty to me, even if it's from him.
You care? Really now? If you care, then where were you the entire party?
Everything that she's feeling is just coming out. In a way, I don't really blame Rebecca either. She's been waiting for, 20 years for this fucking guy to, admit his feelings. That does he like or does he not? He hasn't really said anything. So, yeah, I don't really blame her for, just blowing up.
That doesn't matter right now. It can't simply...
Forget it, Ashton. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about this anymore tonight. Speak to me when you're ready to stop spouting the same barefaced lies.
Ashton jerks back as I instruct him. For a fleeting moment, something akin to hurt darts across his features, his eyes narrowing and his hands closing tightly into a fist at his sides. It does little to lull my little ill humor, because in the next second, his answer sounds nothing of apologetic tone I'm expecting from him.
Fine!
Whoa! A little regret would have been nice.
Fine.
In my anger, I don't even notice when I've climbed inside his car, not until after I've slammed the door behind me with as much force as I can summon. He follows soon after, and shortly we're on our way back to the city. Yet, even with the city's bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air from the mansion still lingers. The noon is almost at its highest by the time we reach Salemwell. Even after our respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere within the car remains rife with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed within a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he aligns and dwaddles awkwardly in the middle of the car park unsure. It's almost like he's having an internal debate whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away, purely out of spite, the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late, and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I'm not too cruel to put up with another long drive, especially when he still appears he hasn't gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance my way.
You haven't been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me. But I'm not about to send you out on another drive looking
well,
like
she's still...
It's late.
Yeah, she's
Go get some
still
rest.
caring about it. We're setting aside a lot of loose ends like this, but he appears to have accepted that reason, at least for the meantime. He does give me another questionable glance when I shove past him, pulling my mobile in the process.
Where are you going? I thought...
You go ahead upstairs. I need to contact Professor Andrew.
Andrew? Why would you... Oh, no. Please. Is this that thing Isabella said this morning?
Oh,
Again?
Shush! Be
I already
quiet!
gave her my word, Becca. I'll look into this BRC crap. No need to drag the old guy into it.
Of course, he's still skeptical. It makes one It makes one wonder if he's seeing anything at all. Figures this course will stay away from the scoffer. But this is another loose end tonight, and I just can't leave it alone. Ashton's beliefs notwithstanding. It just so happens that it's one I can devil into using means other than taking a look at the mansion itself.
Ashton, do you really think I still give a shite after that stunt you pulled tonight?
No, but this is...
I spent so many years with him to know this is about to turn into another argument. Before he can finish it, I cut him off with a firm raised hand.
Look, I don't care. There are weird things happening around here. And yes, it's Isabella's brand of weird. Ghostly voices, strange sounds, and a bloody woman sitting at the back of my car. You don't have to believe me. And I no longer have the patience to convince you, so just leave me be, Ashton.
He doesn't push it, growing quiet instead, although I know he has a whole case of it prepared inside his head, but there's a reluctant shift in his movement when he steps away from the conversation. Short of climbing the stairs, he stops, turns to face me with an expression almost too... conflicted?
Are you really sure?
What?
That there was something? That you've been, seeing things?
Yes!
Yes, I'm very, very certain. Now go, and you better not break anything in there. The last time I let you stay over, it was that statuette Belle gave me. You haven't even replaced that one.
The last of my reprimand goes both unheard and unanswered, and he disappears behind the stairs. If things aren't as strained, he might have quipped to about that, followed by the light banter. Instead, for a long moment, I am left staring after him. There's something in the way he asks it nags me. Coupled with his expression, the whole exchange just feels unsettling. One does I feel even fade even as I gather my thoughts and shift my focus to another, even as I dial Professor Andrew's number. And that is when it clicks. During the long wait for the professor, one stray thought emerges from the uneasiness. Ashton has not intended for his question to be a jib. It's concern. For what, though? For my well-being? For the cursed letter? The woman I mentioned? The answer for those will have to wait, however. Finally, the call connects to Professor Andrew's voice, echoes from the receiver.
Professor Andrew?
Rebecca? It's late. What can I do for you?
I know, I'm sorry, but this is a bit urgent.
After all, this is more pressing matter. Our lives might be at stake and we're still in the dark.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you to do me a favor.
Sunday, October 30th. I like how the spooky ending will happen on October 31st, Halloween. Professor Andrew Clark has now agreed to meet me 2 days later in front of Luxbourne Public Library. He has other commitment, but being a longtime family friend has its perks. I have my parents' connections to thank for that. Of course, I'm not the sort to impose to offer him, but the situation is, well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without a signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library's restrictions section if I want to get more in-depth information on the Ermengarde Mansion, that is. Not simply what they chose to show in the general public. As much as I hate to admit it, there's always something people censor, and whatever it is, I won't find it in the general section. That is true! This is like, again, referencing Harry Potter. You have to go to the restricted section. If only we could have an invisible cloak and we could just walk on through. It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of it alone makes me antsy. Thankfully, I do not have to brood over it. The wait for the professor doesn't last long. He never did enjoy making people wait. Likewise, he disliked people who are tardy. He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind of smile and the casual wave of his hand. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears that he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that, even if I can. It feels disrespectful to call you by your
Force
name
of habit.
alone.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
All right, but just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
As he hands me the permit without further prompting, and just like he promised, he also written a recommendation after his signature. Okay, cool, we got it. This is more than enough to get me those files. I mutter a small thanks before slipping into my pocket. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed, the very face of curiosity. Not surprising considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right then and there, I decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not at all, but stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, true to his inquisitive nature, he asked.
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner. But may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
It's the Ermengarde Mansion, sir.
He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while, I feel like he'll take the slip of paper back. Is there something in what I said?
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see. Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't? Luxborn's most popular couple.
Something falls behind his eyes, the warmth in them suddenly gone, like he's reliving a painful, distinct memory, and seeing it play right in front of him. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces, but that look has unsettled something in me.
Is something the matter?
Nothing much.
Like, I would get it if, like, people were just like, oh, it's the rich people, you know what I mean? Because they're, like, a celebrity couple, everybody knows them, it can be annoying to hear about them, but, like, feel like there's something more to that than just, like, oh, it's the rich people.
But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
Is this about the rights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it. Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
Thanks, Andrew.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a light squeeze, the gesture a young me has always appreciated, and quickly crosses the street after. I watch him until he disappears behind the door of a cafe, until the doubts swimming inside my head find a moment to rest. Whatever his business is with the rights isn't anything I should concern myself about, but somehow, in the grand scheme of things now, it all feels oddly relevant. The how, though, I've yet to find out. Everything is connected, and I'm hoping the library will give me answers I want this time. On a gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty, the second floor in particular. I've always considered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here on no end poring over pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now it feels like nothing like it. The silence is smothering, suffocating. Even now how clean they've kept the room? How the entire small of it lacks a speck of dust or clutter. Breathing is a struggle for the air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this uneasiness, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. Why, of all things, has it been the silliest nursery rhyme? I've not an inkling, because of Kylie? It does the job, however. It fills the lull with something far less awkward, far less deafening, and that is enough for a distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there's a possibility of it being fruitless, by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who have been affected by this. What do we even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? A curse? If Isabella were here, what would she say? Will she panic? Will she be angry I only listened to her now? It all stems from the moment in that movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this, and had we only taken her warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took for her normal lives down on a spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it, or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do of what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start.
A good start.
It doesn't take much time for me to find what I need. A microfilm of old newspapers, long kept in a special storage cabinet at the far end of the restriction section. The year is 1620 and beyond. before the city of Luxburn even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built, and the Anselm is nothing more than a small, sleepy hamlet near the river. A lot of pieces are missing, days, sometimes several consecutive weeks without any records remaining. Often it goes for years. Troublesome, but as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
Better than nothing, it's true. A faint whir of a microfilch machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what local lore knows. There are snippets, little memories of the family that once settled in the house here and there. There are unusual singing and praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a buzzing town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on like this for a good while, until I come up by the years after their deaths. The people of Ainsa might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde, mourned their passing, and held them in the highest esteem after years. But it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Remarkable considering it was a period of recovery from about a plague that killed half the town population, including her parents. Okay, what surprised me though, free at last, her, what? Heir puts a stop to the local slave trade. Okay? Apparently, her time also marked more than superficial changes to the place. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they were done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say, but she seemed capable enough for more than that. The gist of it, the town she rebuilt, is what eventually grew into become Luxbourne City, while the nearby ancient village remained what it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms on my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
I'm worried. I'm really worried. Only one by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and the lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those isodotes, the one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from a brink of collapse or brought new ideas to it. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, they put it off as like, oh, she just committed suicide and that's it. She didn't do anything else. Huh. Is it just because they don't want to show anything because, like, she was a woman and back in the day, women are not supposed to be, like, you know, not allowed to move things along, not allowed to change laws, not allowed to do things, you know? Is that the reason why? Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbow. Not all aspects of her can be considered admirable, but this is history. Some part are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, became a common near the end of her life. Luxbourne witch burns. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Could it be could the girl with the black hair, I'm not talking about Charlotte, because I really, honestly, I keep reading this in the comment, people are saying like, oh, it's the daughter of the mansion. I really think it's two people. I really do think it's two people that are haunting this place. The daughter, Charlotte, and another person, and I'm pretty sure it's this girl, the girl with the black hair, who keeps saying, help me. So, she was a witch? But she was a slave? She's a witch? I don't know. Which would have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slave she saved. It caused quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by the entire town, and at the word of Lady Charlotte alone. You know, I don't really understand that back in the day. People would always call, like, certain, people, sometimes it was meant to, like, witches, like, people who can, like, see into the future, you know, like, some people can, like, see into the future, or they can talk to spirits or stuff like that. Automatically, you're a witch, just because they couldn't comprehend the fact that there was more to it than just this, and they thought it was, like, the devil's work and stuff like that, when really, these people are just ordinary people, that they can just do different things. It really sucks. But this doesn't really have anything to do with a curse, does it? Unless that woman following us and the slave are the same person. A tale of revenge? How cliche. However, with the lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start to resemble her. But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be laughing as stock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes. The lack of ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form at the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take all at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at a dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back into the retrospective envelopes for storage. The motion's no longer anew after volunteering here for a number of times. I didn't make such a mess anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to take a look somewhere else. The where remains unknown though. But just as I'm about to slip past the last slide in, something catches my attention. Oh god, what is it? Oh no. My hand pauses. The microfiche halfway through the projective's sleeve. I'm scared. What if she's here? She's like watching Rebecca or something. This is the one for the few that I've set aside without taking a careful look. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but a closer look. I slide it back to the reader, gently turning the dials in search of the page. But it takes some time, but once the image becomes clear... Oh god, they must have had this drawing commissioned at the announcement. Ermengarde announces betrothal, so this is her fiance, which coincidentally looks like Luke, which is why I still think there are two spirits, and that one that's hugging Luke is Lady Charlotte. And the other girl who's following everyone else, who's saying help me, is the slave, the witch. I don't doubt it. The details are far little intricate, their likeness likely closer to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to those paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her, Edward Godfrey, according to the article that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin, and eventually her fiance. Oh yes, okay, that's pretty normal back in the day, especially with like higher status people or royals. They would marry into the family because they want to keep the bloodline pure and crap like that, you know? Even though I don't support that, but whatever. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself, or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. He looks eerily like Luke. What if Luke's family is a descendant from this guy? You ever thought about that? Maybe that's why they look alike so much. That's totally possible, right? Because they're all from England and like, I'm creeped out. What's that? My head snaps up, glowering at whoever's running in the floor above. No! Is she like crawling on the ceiling? Oh no, I can't. Yo, this is some grudge shit. I can't. Oh god. Any day, I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
I'm scared. I don't want to see. But now isn't the time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine's print button for a copy of the page, while my other hand moves to put everything back into storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. Relief, perhaps? Or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes and wait for the printer to finish, if only to stave off the headache building up from everything. Sometimes I've even begun humming for the same song for comfort. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension in my shoulders, this may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. Oh no. Oh no. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. Oh my god, she's here! Isn't she? Because who the hell runs in a library? You're gonna get like your ass beat or thrown out. No! 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 Please stop! I'm feeling a chilly brush of air behind my back. Brave enough for something sickening to suddenly lodge itself in my throat while I take in my surroundings. It's the suffocating sensation again, creeping every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. Oh my god! From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school, without delay I grab my papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Girl, you need to get out! What did I say? She's crawling on the ceiling! My whole body freezes.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumbling underneath the grip fills the room. Oh, my grasp fills the room, sorry. The excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread surrounding through my limbs. but more than fear is anger. It pains me to hear her using my own student's voice against me, and more than once I believed it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
God, although she hasn't made a move, if there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put distance between us, no matter how small, how long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself, because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left without no way out. I'm not dying here.
You think you scared
That's right,
me?
Rebecca, you're not dying here!
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook.
Oh, spooky!
This is one Scotswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight.
I like her Scottish accent just comes out.
Come at me.
I expected she'll lunge, prove to me what a monster she is. Instead, she gives me a smile, twisted and gnarled. It's as if time has crawled to a stop at the sight of it. A split-second decision, and before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in anticipation, grabbing whatever solid enough nearby table and hurling it at her. Oh god. I don't bother looking if whatever I threw hits its mark. I run, as fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But it's the maze of bookshelves with the whole place of almost void of people. Is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? No! I had to make the decision, head for the door or the stairs? What? Oh no! What is the safest route? I mean, the stairs has an exit, right? Okay, we're going to the stairs. I don't fucking know, man. There are people upstairs, aren't there? The weekend staff or some volunteer? There should be. Even if it's Sunday, I'm not the only one of a special permit. There should be at least one other person manning this place. No, because if the door, I feel like it'd be locked or something. I heard them a while ago. Of course, I couldn't possibly tell them about this. They won't believe me in the same manner we didn't buy Isabella's story until it's too late. But I can easily come up with excuses. For now, what's important is that I don't end up trapped alone with her.
Safety in numbers, as they say.
Yes! I'd rather be there! There's no hesitation in my step as I race upstairs, ears straining for any sign of sound of a woman appearing, jumping at me again at any second. I can still hear her behind me, the grinding of bones, her whisper as she calls me back. Although it's at a distance, I don't slow my pace. Library rules be damned. Because no matter how much I pretend to be brave, the level-headed one or the tough one, this terrifies me. This scares me more than anything. This isn't how I plan to die. But when I get back to the third floor, oh my god. Only silence welcomes me with an emptiness that stretches on far too wide, spanning the entirety of the floor for it to be reassuring. And just behind me, somewhere at the foot of the stairs, no! Oh god, bitch! Panic rises up in my throat. No other way now but up. So I bolt, desperation kicking in without warning. I take 2 steps at a time, tripping clumsily over some last ditch to attempt to escape. But I know, at the back of my mind, I know all this is futile. With every footfall, with every ragged breath, with every pounding of my heart, it gets hammered into my mind. And it only becomes clearer at me once the door at the end opens, revealing the vast expanse of Luxborn's early morning skyline, with her treading at my heels, blocking my only way out.
Stay away from me!
No! Did I kill Rebecca? Yo, I'm so screwed. I use this plea. Does she even understand a word I say? Is she still human in the first place? Somehow I doubt it. Because no human being will ever do this. Simply imagining what she's capable of doing to us. I never want to give her that chance.
I'm telling you to back off!
Her gait is slow and she walks forward. Each stride accompanied by the sound of breaking bones, of oozing blood and wounds that never found healing. And with every inch she draws nearer, as I pull away, take back what little distance I can between us, the smile on her merely grows wider. Yo, I don't want Rebecca to die! A mocking gesture for me. She may be less of a human now, but I'm pretty sure she's fully aware she's got me cornered. She wouldn't even bother making it here if she isn't. But I can't look away. I can't bring myself to, even as the heel of my shoe eventually hits the edge of the line, trapped, alone. So, is this how it ends, huh? Quietly and without fanfare, surrounded by not a warm breeze, but a chilly morning air. Not soft footballs and an empty hallway, but the din of an early morning traffic below. No warm afternoon light, nothing but the cold, pungent smell of death, all underneath a dreary morning sky. How fitting. Yet, amidst all of it, there's a single voice I want to hear. Oh my god, I killed Rebecca, didn't I? If only for the last time!
Hey, did I...
No!
No, I left you a voicemail,
Oh, God!
where are you?
The one I grew up with, who always got grades better than I did without even trying, whose silly antics I had to put up all these years, who stood by me even when things got tougher, the one person who's been constant in my life.
Ash, do you remember that one time?
The what?
Back in secondary, we joined a contest back then, didn't we? We had to dress you up as a girl and...
No.
What? You looked really pretty.
Oh my
I
god!
think I still have that picture somewhere.
Dude, I didn't want to kill anyone. Like, even though I didn't agree with the way that Rebecca was thinking, I didn't want her to die!
Burn it. We're not talking about that again. You promised. Seriously, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered.
So weird. Despite everything, my lips curl into a smile, faint, a sad little thing on its own given the situation. Because even at the very end, I know I have this. The casual talk, the friendly banter, talking like how we always would have as children. If only I hadn't been too selfish. If only I hadn't taken all this for granted in favor of my feelings. Then perhaps I won't be regretting anything now.
You're being weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salem Well right now and...
I wish time would simply stop for us. There is still a lot of things I want to say. Things I have never bothered saying out loud. Things I should have said a long time ago to someone who has always been by my side. But in this moment, there's only one.
Thanks, Ash.
No! Did I kill her?
Hold on. Did I do something?
For everything.
Rebecca, what?
I'm so glad to have known you.
No!
Wait, what are you? God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A soft click, and I'm closing my eyes. Girl, please, girl! There's a rush of air, the sound of the world dimming around me, like a song coming to an inevitable end.
London Bridge is falling down, falling
No!
down, falling down.
I don't
London
like
Bridge
this!
is falling down, my fair lady.
Did I kill her? No! No! What happened? What happened? What did I do? You've unlocked a memory fragment. What? Oh my god, I think I killed Rebecca, guys. No, I knew this would happen to me. Every time there's a game where you have to keep characters alive or dead, I end up killing someone. Oh my god, I think I killed her. I think I killed her. No. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end this episode right here. This is the last fragment of Rebecca. I don't know if she's dead or not, but we saw a memory fragment. So what I think, this is what I think I theorized. There are two spirits currently haunting the Ermengarde Mansion. One is Lady Charlotte, and one is the witch, or the slave to the family of Ermengarde. She fell in love with Lady Charlotte's fiance. She got really pissed and sentenced the slave to death because she claimed she was a witch. And maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Regardless, she died wrongfully and accused of something she didn't do because she was in love with the lady's fiance, and in return he was in love with her. That's why she became like this like crazy ass lady and was like, yeah, let's just kill everybody, it's fine. I don't know what happened to the fiance, but that maybe explains why both of them are so attached to Luke, because he looks exactly like the guy. And I think I just straight up killed Rebecca. I don't know what happened. Oh my god. Alright, well, that's the end of this episode. When I come back, we're gonna start Ashton's route. Hopefully we'll figure out what is going on in his chapter, because I want to know what exactly he knows about Luke. That's the most important thing. Jesus Christ. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Rebecca's dead, or do you not think she's dead? I mean, there's still a chance, but I'm pretty sure she died because we heard something falling. So that's great. Oh god, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Sorry, I gotta close my eyes. Ah! My god! Then suddenly the bed dips. Why? Whoa! Ah! Forward or develop another character. Video game deaths can be tragic. Here are 6 sad character deaths from video games. Roman, Grand Theft Auto 4.